work do you do?
I work in a local shop in K Market.
How did you apply to your work?
I first had a place for dagsverke there, and then they asked me if I want to work there.
Okay, under what criteria were you chosen?
Well, I don't know actually. They just asked, so yeah.
Okay. Describe your work environment.
Well, what usually guy does in a shop. Well, I sell stuff. But
With who do you work?
Well, with people.
Okay, that's good. How long have you worked?
For 2 years, I guess.
Okay, what have you learned from your work?
Well, how to be with people, I guess, like usually.
Are you satisfied with your salary?
Yeah, yes, it's good.
Are you planning to build a career on this field?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
What work do you do?
I'm working for Amnesty International, and I'm working for face-to-face campaign and going from door to door and trying to sell the campaign to the people.
How did you apply to your work?
I saw advertisement on the internet, so I sent an email, and after that I called the person and he asked me for an interview.
By what criteria were you chosen?
They were looking for someone happy and someone who has good social skills and someone who doesn't really give up easily.
Describe your work environment.
I go from door to door, and every time someone opens a door, I come and tell a little bit about human rights and what kind of work Amnesty International does for human rights, and then I ask if they want to join our Amnesty Club or support it financially.
With who do you work?
We work in a group of 4, but mostly we go to building all together, but then we all go to different floors, so at the door I'm alone.
Okay. How long have you worked?
I just started it recently, so right now I have been working for like 2 weeks.
What have you learned through your work?
Well, I have learned that if I want someone to join in Amnesty International, I really have to be happy and positive and not give up easily. Even if the person says no for the first time, then I just have to try and make him to change his opinion. And I also have learned a lot about human rights since I'm talking about them like several times and again the same thing, so I have learned a lot about that.
Are you satisfied with your salary?
Yeah, I actually am. They pay really good.
Are you planning on building a career in this field?
I probably want to do something that has something to do with human rights, but not maybe this particular job.
Okay, thank you very much for your interview. So I heard your case is exceptional to most of the other teenager Finns, because you're not only employed, but you also employ yourself. So would you like to explain us more about your case?
Yeah, so I started my own company, and I started to clean houses and clean windows.
What processes did you need to go through in order to start your own company?
I had to do some paperwork, this bureaucratic paperwork, and take care of taxes. But that's all.
So where did you get the idea to start your own business?
That's a good question. Maybe because my parents are entrepreneurs, and I've some kind of grown up in that kind of environment. So it would be quite hard to imagine that I would work for someone else than be my own boss.
That sounds very reasonable. So, how long have you been running your company?
Maybe about 2 years or something.
Is your company actually making profit?
Yep.
So you have reached many clients?
You mean, do I have many clients?
Yes.
Yes. I had a few ads in the beginning of last summer. So maybe about 100.
That sounds very impressive. Have you been planning on working in this field also in the future?
Maybe, maybe not. I think I may not clean houses or clean windows all my life, but maybe do some business or own a few companies.
Thank you very much for your interview.
Thanks.
Are you working?
No, I'm not working.
Do you live alone or with your parents?
I live alone.
Are you seeking for work?
Actually, yes, I am.
Do you feel confident in finding work?
Well, I do find confident that I will find work, but I'm not sure how I'll be able to combine my work with my studies.
So you believe your work will be really time consuming?
Yeah, I think so. And my school is very demanding, so I don't know how I'll be able to fit work into that.
Have you been working before?
My main work experience has mainly come from summer jobs where I've worked in like local farms selling like strawberries and stuff like that, but otherwise I haven't been working.
Thank you very much for your interview. What kind of volunteer work do you do?
Well, I've done a lot of different kind of work for the local parish and church. For example, I work a lot with older people, so I help them out with their TVs, internets, computers, electronics, and that's one of my jobs and things that I do. I also help people move. If they're moving, I can go help them pack and carry stuff. And then I've also read voice magazines for the visually impaired, local magazines.
Describe your work environment.
As I said, I work mostly with more elder people, but I find it really interesting to work with older people because they're so nice usually. And if you do something like help them fix their computer, they'll give you a cup of coffee and so on. But then I also work alone, kind of, because I am fixing their computers and I read the magazines and such, so that's not really so social.
How long have you been working?
Well, as I said, I mostly work with more elder people, and even though I do work alone quite often when I read the magazines, and well, I'm still fixing their computers, so I'm not really working with them, but I get the rewards later, a cup of coffee and so on.
How long have you been working?
I've been doing these all sorts of various jobs for about a year, and I intend to do another year.
How does it make you feel to do a voluntary work?
I think it's very rewarding, and you also get that cup of coffee occasionally, even though I don't like coffee, but yeah, I like it when you're doing it.
What have you learned through your work?
Well, before this casting that motivated me to start this, and before high school in general, I was, can be said, very shy, but not anymore. I've done a lot of social things and such, and a normal person almost.
How did you come up with the idea to do volunteering?
Well, I've always been interested, but not sort of interested enough to start doing these things. So the cast motivated me to start, but then it's nice to keep going.
Are you planning on building a career in this field?
It's not my primary option, but the choice is there if I need to do it.
Thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you very much.
What kind of volunteer work do you do?
I'm a part of Planned Children's Board.
What does your work include?
We organize different kinds of events and campaigns.
Describe your work environment.
It's very relaxed and you get to decide how much work you want to do. So it really depends on you if you want to be all in or not do that much work.
Okay, with who do you work?
There are 20 young people from all over Finland and we meet in Helsinki 6 times a year.
How long have you been working?
Almost 4 years.
How does it make you feel to do a voluntary work?
It feels good to do something for other people.
What have you learned through your work?
I have learned that you have to take responsibility for your actions, and that if you say that you'll do something, you really have to do it. You can't just expect that everyone else does it for you.
How did you come up with the idea to do volunteering?
I had lived in India when I was younger, and I saw that things weren't that good for other people. And then I was involved with a lot of stuff there too, through school. And then when we moved back to Finland, I just wanted to continue doing it.
Are you planning on building a career in this field?
Maybe.
Thank you
Hopefully.
very much.